I'm Sarah Bernstein, and this is a book talk for Confessions of a Jane Austen Addict by Laura Vieira Rigler. Who doesn't love a book with friendship, love, humor, chamber pots? Courtney Stone is the typical modern young woman, independent, fun-loving, sarcastic, strong. She also happens to be engaged to a real jerk. When she catches him cheating on her with their wedding coordinator, she has no choice but to call off the wedding and hole up in her apartment with a pint of ice cream and her favorite Jane Austen novels. Well, perhaps Courtney isn't your typical modern girl after all. You see, she's obsessed with all things Jane Austen. You know, Jane Austen, 19th century English writer of such classics as Sense and Sensibility, Pride and Prejudice. She was a real independent, funny woman too, romantic as well. So imagine Courtney's shock and utter disbelief when she wakes up from a particularly bad night of martinis in the body of another young woman. A young woman in 19th century England, just like a Jane Austen setting. Is it a dream? Insanity? Or has she somehow traveled back in time? Whether it's any of these things or not quickly ceases to matter when she realizes that it isn't going away. And if she keeps on insisting that she's Courtney from America, Courtney from 2000 whatever, well, then bad things will happen. What kind of bad things? Oh, try strict bed rest, bloodletting, even being committed to an insane asylum. Yes, it's either play along in this Jane Austen setting or undergo horrific, barbaric 19th century medical treatments. Let's see. Page 42. I'm here, in someone else's body, in someone else's life, and here it appears I will stay until, or if, I figure how to get back. Okay, so how do I get my life back? Willing myself out of here isn't working. Insisting I'm not who they think I am almost got me committed, not to mention nearly bled dry. There's got to be a way to get my life back. I just haven't figured it out yet. I hear a quick rap at the bedroom door, and then it opens a crack. It's Barnes, wanting to know if I'm awake. Darn. I really can't deal with anyone right now. Then again, I'm not sure I can get into my clothes with all these laces and buttons in the back, not to mention that horrible stiff corset thing that makes the simplest motion, like even sitting down in a chair or bending over to pick up something, an exercise in creative problem solving. Hasn't anyone ever thought of ergonomics or common sense? It's as if they purposely designed them for women who have hired help. Of course they did. It's good that Barnes is here. She can help me get dressed. That her very presence will stop me from curling into the fetal position or screaming until they cart me off to the asylum. Because when I feel the blood drain from my face, being committed would be much worse than a nightmare. It would be a no-exit situation, far more horrible than to contemplate life imprisonment in the higher echelons of society that predicates a woman's right to do more than embroider and keep house. I have to compose myself and get through this day. I have to believe that somehow it will all become clear, and that somehow I'll find my way back to real life. I have to believe this, or else I can't make it. Right now I have the familiar morning pressure, and relieving that pressure on my bladder is all I can really handle right now. That, and getting dressed and playing the role of dutiful Jane Mansfield. Ungodly tight corsets, chamber pots, no real toothpaste or deodorant. These aren't the only problems Courtney has to deal with in her new life, in her new body as Jane Mansfield, 19th century woman. While Courtney loves Jane Austen novels, she certainly doesn't fit in one. This time period has strict and limiting rules for women. While Courtney is Jane, she has to watch her tongue, be polite always, learn to embroider and sew, play the piano, never leave the house without a chaperone, and endure Jane Mansfield's overbearing, horrific mother who insists on trying to marry her off to horrible yet wealthy men. Her independent spirit, strong will, and her potty mouth have no place here in this new setting. Courtney must use her extensive knowledge of Austen's novels to survive and hopefully escape this time period and get back to her regular life. Although she does realize after a while that 19th century England isn't all bad hygiene and bedbugs. There are glamorous balls, flattering chivalry, and charming hobbies that a modern girl like Courtney isn't used to but is quickly coming to enjoy. Oh, And let's not forget the charming, handsome Mr. Edgeworth, who's madly in love with Jane Mansfield. Oh yes, this could be fun after all. Is Courtney ever going to find a way back to her own time? Worse yet, does she want to? If you like this book after you've read it, know that there is a sequel, Rude Awakenings of a Jane Austen Addict. Happy readings!